It's Pete from Cheap Homesteading, and I'm working on my daughter's 2010 Hyundai Accent, and we're going to change the fuel pump. Okay, so in the front of the seat, there's two latches, one here, one on the other side, and you push it and pull up on the seat. Okay, so we shove the buckles kind of through. Okay, so now you're gonna pull. Okay, you're gonna pull the back seat forward. Right about, oh, that's hard to see. Right about here in the very middle of the seat, there's a bolt that a 12mm wrench fits on, and you just got to get that out, and then the seat will pop out. Okay, so now this should just pop out of here. Look at that. Previous owner must have lost a little cap gun ring and a key. Anything else good under here? No. Oh my goodness, there's change. I found change. Look at that. Ooh, 25 cents. Okay, so you need to get a putty knife or something to get under this edge, because it's glued down with this stuff. Okay, so now we're going to unplug this plug. You push this tab where my thumb is, and that comes up. So then we're going to fish that through. Okay, so I'm going to throw some rags under here when I take this off. Okay, so these things here, you squeeze both sides and pull it off, and there's your fuel line. Squeeze both sides in, shove it off. We'll just put the, wipe up any fuel. If it sits overnight or something, you probably won't have very much fuel dripping. So now we have to remove these ring of bolts, and the whole pump pops out. You remove these bolts, they're 8mm. Before we totally take the pump assembly off, we're going to wipe it down a little bit. We're going to try to keep as much stuff from falling back into the tank as possible. The last bolt. So before we pull this out, we'll get the other one ready. So we got a new fuel pump, and it's a Spectra Premium fuel pump assembly, built to meet and exceed original equipment specifications. Perfect fit guaranteed. I like that when they say guaranteed. Extensive model coverage, product liability insurance. Wow, I wonder what product liability insurance. I guess if the fuel pump something happens. Oh man, that's wild. Anyways, at least they have insurance. Okay, so Canadian Parts Supplier. Okay, so we're gonna open this up. This clip slides into there. You have to push down on the clip and shove back on the line, and it'll pop out. Okay, so it has some technical advice here. Caution, when fuel is involved, work in a well-ventilated area, away from sparks and open flames, to reduce the risk of fire and personal injury. That is really good advice. You don't want to be smoking or any sort of ignition source in the car or anything when you're trying to remove this pump out, because it'll blow up. Okay, so we'll have a bucket ready. When we pull this out, we throw it in the bucket so we don't drip it all over the car. Okay, so you're gonna have to fish the lines away when you lift up on the pump and work it out. Okay. Okay, so you kind of tip it out this way so it releases the sending unit. So we're going to fish the new seal over the sending unit. And then we're going to put this one back down. Be careful not to bend the sending unit. The sending unit's the part, the little float that tells you how much fuel you have in the car. Because if you bend that, it won't be accurate anymore. Now we're going to put your ring in there. You got to get these lines around the ring. If you look, there's a tab that lines up this with the ring so it can't turn in there. So you get that lined up and we're going to reinstall the screws. Don't start tightening them until you get them all started. Now, start tightening them up. One here, one here, one here, one here. So kind of a cross pattern. Okay, so now we're going to wipe off the connectors. I'm going to pop this little plastic plug off. And if we push on this, it will snap. And then make sure you pull. Make sure it doesn't come off of there. It doesn't. Okay. And see that little clip? Push it back, it locks in. And we're going to do the same thing with this. We're going to shove it in. And we're going to pull and make sure that it doesn't come off. Okay, so we're going to temporarily plug in the pump. We're going to turn on the ignition and just see if there's any leaks or anything like that. Okay, so I open the door and we're going to just fire it up and see if it runs. There we go. No leaks, so we should be good. We're just going to put the cover on. Take the plug back off by pushing this little tab right here. Plug through. Make sure the rubber's fully seated. Gonna flip this around. We're gonna plug in the pump. And now you want to squish it down. You can reseal it. So that black sealant that's around the edge, if you had more, that's good, but most times it will reseal pretty good. Okay, so now that you've pushed down all the way, you're good to go. Just reinstall the seat. Gonna push back on the seat, get it lined up. That's locked in. Now we have to put that bolt back in. Okay, so now you reinstall this bolt. So there you go. She's all back together, and you guys have a good one.